A warm welcome to you here on TV News, here on TV Sapiencia. The top stories today. Around 1.3 million people die from secondhand smoke every year, according to World Health Organization reports on the Global Tobacco Epidemic 2025. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said today, Wednesday, that the United States was totally committed to the Alliance Mutual Defense Clause after President Donald Trump appeared to cast doubt on it. And in sports, 9-time African champions, the Super Falcons, will arrive in Casablanca, the capital of Morocco, today, Wednesday, ahead of the 2024 WAFCON tournament, which will be played from July 5 to 26 in the North African country. My name is Chioma Vic Chukwemeka. Welcome to the news. Around 1.3 million people die from secondhand smoke every year, according to World Health Organization reports on the Global Tobacco Epidemic 2025. The report released at the World Conference on Tobacco Control in Dublin warned that action is needed to maintain and accelerate progress in tobacco control as rising industry interference challenges tobacco policies and control efforts. The report focuses on the 6 proven WHO-empowered tobacco control measures to reduce tobacco use, which claims over 7 million lives a year. It said since 2007, 155 countries have implemented at least one of the WHO-empowered tobacco control measures to reduce tobacco use at the best practice level. However, there are major gaps as 40 countries still have no empowered measure at the best practice level, and more than 30 countries allow cigarette sales without mandatory health warnings. Away from that story, in an exclusive interview with Sapiencia News, team lead of Kimpact Development Initiative, Bukola Idowu, unveiled the Naija Elections App, a groundbreaking platform designed to provide accurate and official information on elections and governance. The app aims to tackle the growing issue of misinformation and disinformation, particularly in the lead up to elections. According to Idowu, the app's primary purpose is to empower citizens with reliable information, enabling them to participate effectively in the electoral process. The app boasts 3 key features: providing accurate information, voter education, and the ability to educate others. It utilizes generative artificial intelligence to interact with users, making it an innovative tool for the youth. Idowu noted that the app's tech-based approach, leveraging artificial intelligence, makes it easily accessible to young people who are familiar with technology. With the Naija Elections App, citizens now have a powerful tool at their fingertips to access accurate information, educate themselves and others, and participate in shaping the future of their country. Recall that Kimpact Development Initiative recently organized Naija Election Okadem Talks Youth Outreach Program in Oka to sensitize the youth on the need to participate in elections and democracy. The federal government has officially commenced the concurrent implementation of bachelor's degree programs across 15 approved federal colleges of education in Nigeria. This move follows President Bola Tinubu's recent assent to the legislation empowering federal colleges of education to award both the Nigerian certificate in education and bachelor's degrees in education. Speaking at a one-day sensitization program on ministerial deliverables and the education sector roadmap, the permanent secretary of the Federal Ministry of Education, Abel Eniton, announced the development. Eniton, represented by the Director of Educational Planning, Julie Uzo, noted that the dual certification model was aimed at revitalizing teacher education and addressing dwindling enrollment. He added that the federal government had also approved the establishment of more colleges to increase access and enrollment opportunities. And he further revealed that a review of the NCE minimum standards was underway to ensure that the programs meet current educational needs and maintain high standards. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Butukun, on Tuesday yesterday said no fewer than 53 suspects have been arrested in connection with the recent wave of deadly attacks in Benue and Plateau states. The attacks claimed dozens of lives and left several others injured or displaced. This is, as he said, the suspect will be arraigned in court without a delay for their roles in the brutal attacks. Addressing journalists in Abuja on Tuesday yesterday, the IGP described the June 13 massacre in Yelwata community of Benue State as a coordinated attack of terror. He said 26 were arrested for the attack in Yelwata, 22 suspects in connection with the Plateau incident, and another 5 in Benue for a more recent attack in Markodi. He stated that 47 persons were killed and 27 were arrested in the Yelwata attack, adding that 2 General People's machine guns and 8 AK-47 rifles used in the attack were recovered. Religious and civic collaboration came to the fore as a delegation of Anglican bishops in Anambra State, led by the Archbishop Province of the Niger and Bishop of Oka Diocese, Most Reverend Chibuzo Ibezim, commended Governor Chukwuma Soludo's transformational governance after touring his projects. After the tour of Solution City, that's the Fun City, the bishops proceeded to Alex Ekweme Square, the Government House and Governor's Lodge, where they engaged in discussions with Governor Soludo about the roles of faith-based organizations in community development. While speaking through Most Reverend Ibezim, the Anglican bishops expressed appreciation for the governor's initiatives and his commitment to transparency and accountability in governance. Responding, Governor Soludo expressed gratitude for their continued partnership in fostering peace and development in Anambra State. The Children, Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Court sitting in Awka has sentenced to life imprisonment one Michael Okoye, aged 23, who was alleged to have on 11th of May 2024 in Onitsha had unlawful sexual intercourse with a 17-year-old girl hawking Oba, that's Bambara North. An offense contrary to Section 3.2 of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition and Protection Laws of Anambra State 2017, delivering judgment in a 4-count charge brought against the defendant, which includes compelling the victim by threats to engage in sexual conduct to the detriment of her psychological well-being, as well as willfully and unlawfully inflicting injury on her. The court presided over by Justice Peace Oti against the defense counsel's argument ruled that the girl is incapable of giving sexual consent under Section 34 of the Child Rights Law of Anambra State 2004, and that it was immaterial that the perpetrator thought that the victim was above the age of being a child. Reacting to the judgment, the Anambra State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Professor Sylvia Ifemeje Ugochi Freeman of Child Protection Network, and the State International Federation of Women Lawyers Chairperson, Barrister Amara Mwajeke, said that the judgment is a landmark, spectacular, and ensures deterrence, sending a signal that the Governor Chukwuma Soludo's administration has zero tolerance for all forms of gender-based violence in the state. Still in Anambra State, the Anambra State Executive Council, presided over by Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has approved the construction of Rehabilitation Centre at Nibu, Awka South Local Government Area, to address the state's mental health issues. The State Commissioner for Information, Dr. Lomefo, said the decision to build the centre is to allow those who leave the state asylums to access rehabilitation facilities that provide all the services they need to fully heal before returning to their families and communities. The contract, which is expected to cost 417.32 million naira, was awarded to Tri-Seconds Resources Limited. The Executive Council also took a decision on the proposed Anambra Rebirth Program and determined that the program's blueprint should address a number of important issues to achieve its main objectives, such as the restoration of the Igbo apprenticeship system, the return to hard work and integrity, the criminalization of obscenities, especially the flaunting of money and warped ideologies of wealth without work. MEFA also announced that the multi-million naira Solution Fund City, constructed by Governor Soludo, will be officially opened on Saturday. Away from Anambra State right now, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said today Wednesday that the United States was totally committed to the alliance's mutual defense clause after President Donald Trump appeared to cast doubt on it. On his way to the summit, Trump refused to commit and commend to NATO's Article 5 clause, the basic agreement that says an attack on one member is an attack on all. Rutte said that there was, however, an expectation that the Canadians and the Europeans would ramp up their spending, with the US long complaining that it paid too much to defend countries in Europe. NATO allies later today Wednesday are to sign off a pledge to spend 3.5% of GDP on core defense spending, just over the current US level, plus another 1.5% on broader security-related areas such as cybersecurity and infrastructure. Finally, in sports. The 9-time African champions, the Super Falcons, will arrive in Casablanca, the capital of Morocco, today Wednesday, ahead of the 2024 WAFCON tournament, which will be played from July 5 to 26 in the North African country. Now, 7 of the players, including American-based trio Ashishat Oshola, Michel Alozie and Deborah Abiodun, arrived in Casablanca on Tuesday yesterday. Others are Chinwendu Ihezuo, Folashade Ijamilusi, Esther Koronko, and new invitee Chomo Kafo. Coach Justin Madugu had 17 players available for the goalless draw against Portugal on Monday. Reigning African goalkeeper of the year, Chiamaka Nnadozie, was the standout performer, pulling off a string of remarkable saves to keep Nigeria in the game, while the Falcons' closest chance of nicking the win was when Francisca Odega rattled the crossbar from a distance in the closing stages. The rest of the team, who played a friendly game in Portugal on Monday, that's the team will depart Lisbon for Casablanca on Wednesday, that's today, where they face eternal rivals, Ghana's Black Queens, in another friendly on Sunday, June 29. With our story on the Falcons, we'll wrap it up on this hour's news hour. A quick reminder of our top stories. Around 1.3 million people die from secondhand smoke every year, according to a World Health Organization report on the global tobacco epidemic 2025. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said on Wednesday that the United States was totally committed to the alliance's mutual defense clause after President Donald Trump appeared to cast doubt on it. 9-time African champions, the Super Falcons, will arrive in Casablanca, the capital of Morocco, today Wednesday, ahead of the 2024 WAFCON tournament, which will be played from July 5 to 26 in the North African country. Many thanks for joining us this hour. That's today on the news. Thank you so much. My name is Chioma Vic Chukwemeka. Thanks for watching and do have a great time. Stay with us. Good afternoon from here.